Long ago in Ireland, the druid called Criomthann was walking one evening through the oak woods that clothe the lower slopes of Mulligamesha. And as he walked, he listened to the singing of the birds, for he understood their language, and he knew that their silence can be as important as their speech. And so, when he became aware of a patch of that silence in the woods ahead of him, he became thoughtful. Not far ahead, his path crossed a deep river by means of a rough timber bridge, and in the middle of the bridge he could see what looked like a little old woman, muffled in gray-brown shawls. But the silence of the birds and his own magic told Criomthann that she was not what she seemed, and so he stopped before he set foot on the bridge. "Good evening to you, old mother," he said.
"I am no mother of yours," said the old woman. "Where do you be going on such a fine evening?"
"Far enough, and not very far," said Criomthann. "Where do you bide, old mother?"
"Near enough, and not very near," said the old woman. "Be for crossing over?"
"I am," said Criomthann. But he did not move.
"Read me this riddle aright," said the old woman, "and I will let you pass."
"And if I fail?"
"You will pay the price."
Criomthann stood in thought. It was far and far to any other bridge over this river, and if he did not cross now, he might not reach his goal before morning, and he had need to. "What is the riddle, old woman?" he asked.
"Tell me who I am."
"And the price if I fail?"
"The rod you carry beneath your belt."
Now there were two possible meanings to this answer, and neither of them pleased Criomthann, for the one was his druid's wand, and the other a part of himself. So he stood and thought, and the evening deepened toward twilight. And far off, the small birds of the woods were still silent, but far off he could hear the voices of the crows returning to their roost for the night. The old woman heard them too. She tilted her head to listen, and then seemed to hunch down further into her gray-brown shawls, her eyes gleaming faintly red in the twilight.
"Well,"
she said. "I think," said Criomthann, "that I will let someone else answer your riddle." And on the words he pursed his lips and let out a loud, echoing "Hoo! Hoo! Hoo!" Through the trees the crows came diving, cawing loudly, for there is nothing that they hate more than an owl. The old woman leapt up, spreading her great wings, and fled ahead of them into the darkness. And when peace had settled once more on the oak woods, Criomthann crossed the bridge and went on his way, smiling at the sleepy twittering of the birds. For he knew well, as I tell you now, that the easiest way to get out of a trap is not to go in. Shine.